Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Words About Books. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I am actually incredibly sick. But Nate said he couldn't be here today, and he scheduled a very important interview, our first ever author interview. He would not tell me who it was with. I'm really hoping John Bierce here. I'm skipping a doctor's appointment to be here. They said I could have minutes to live. So
Hey.
the fuck are you doing here?
How's it going, Ben? Hold on, let me get my feet up on this desk, make myself comfortable.
What are
Got
you
my
doing?
sunglasses on in the middle of the night. My
It's just
future is just so bright. I've got to wear shades. Oh, what's up? How's it going?
I thought you said you couldn't make it.
What are you talking about?
Nathaniel, you told me.
Whoa, Nathaniel. Okay. Oh, see, I see what this is. No. I am Chad Dingleton. I'm here to.
This is literally
be a
just you in
guest.
sunglasses.
I don't know what to tell you. I'm here to guest. I'm here to promote my brand new. I guess I'll call it a book. It's not quite novel length.
It's 30
but-
pages.
Yeah, but it's a book. I'm a book man.
It's a text.
Yeah, text on a book.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I risked my health for this.
And just throw a Band-Aid on it. Rub some dirt in it.
Okay, so what is your book?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Ben. Can I call you Ben?
No.
I'm glad you asked, Ben. I'm here to promote my hit new single,
Single? What?
Extra Sensual Perception.
Okay. Is there a music component to this?
There will be an audio component once I coerce my floozy to record it.
You're floozy. I guess we should probably go back to the very beginning. When did you first conceive of the idea of extrasensual perception?
So I'm glad you used the word conceive. It's very fitting in this context, right? So it was, I believe, in March of this last year. I guess it'll be March of 2022 for everyone listening to this episode because it goes out in the new year.
I don't know how you know when it goes out, Chad.
Hey, I've got access to your schedule. You should change your passwords.
It's the same password as Unsighted.
Yeah, I know. So in March of this year, you and Nate, that wonderful, wonderful man, you were streaming. You remember that? This feels like a really long time ago.
I do remember that. I wanted to stream more, but I'm fat now.
That you are, young Ben. So
I don't know why you're laughing. Like it was an off the cuff joke, but like the way you're laughing at it makes me feel bad.
it should. I feel like it should.
So we were streaming. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, and we were talking about an unsighted episode you had listened to. The Goblin Market or something like that.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. And then somehow it got around to if I was paid a crisp $5 bill, I would write an erotica. And we got paid that same night.
Yeah, I should have asked for more money. That was the first of many lessons streaming taught me.
That you should have. That you should have.
And so a hero was born.
Yes. I did what needed to be done. And over the last several months, some of which were spent not actually writing, I wrote Extra Sensual Perception. And here we are.
It's a really great title. How did you come up with it?
We came up with it on the fly, Ben, as all great book titles are created. You see, Extra Sensual Perception, Ben, I don't know if you know this, but that means ESP, right? That's also a psychic thing. So it's got a little clever dual meaning there. Because there's a psychic guy as the main character. Eh?
So
Pretty
I
clever.
I unfortunately have read Extrasensual Perception.
How was it? 6 out of 5 stars?
It I've described it to everyone I know as that episode of Family Guy where Brian tries to become a Hollywood screenwriter, but he can only get jobs writing scripts for pornography. So he just makes the pornography like way too deep.
Cut. Okay. Nice take, Jenna. But let's try giving the lines a little subtext this time. Your husband's always away on business, and you feel increasingly isolated and unloved. So you begin to think maybe you should go back to graduate school and finish your dissertation. And that's when you notice the cable man has taken his pants off.
That was the vibe I got from Extrasensual Perception. So I've been a fan of the Dingleton oeuvre for
That is what we call it. Yep.
the Dingleton ovum for quite some time now. And I cannot help but notice there is an early unreleased draft of a story involving psychics that you could just never quite get off the ground. But when you were paid $5 to write pornography, it seems like you took most of that plot and just jammed it into that pornography.
Just rammed it in there over and over again. Yes.
Yeah. Is that the case?
So let me tell you a little story, Ben.
Okay.
I thought, Goblin Market, that sounds kind of interesting, right?
Did you read Goblin Market?
No, well, yeah, some of it. I skimmed, right? So anyway, I'm skimming the Goblin Market, and I guess it's very definitely porn, right? It's very definitely not safe for work, right?
But it's pretty explicit.
It tries to masquerade as
I remember
not what
this.
it actually
You read it.
is.
You read it on stream.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, they keep talking about like fruit and peaches.
Yeah, and so I thought maybe I could try to do that, but then I realized that I've got a more overt writing style, right? A more in-your-face attitude. I can't have subtlety. That's not my nature. It's not my style.
It's never too soon, Rat. I mean, a girl decides how far she's gonna let you go in the first 5 minutes.
Well, what am I supposed to do? Go up to this strange girl in my biology class and say, "Hello, I'd like you to take your clothes off and jump on me"?
I would.
Yeah. And so I decided to, well, first, I was also going to try to make it really clinical, really medical. I did put that at the end, but I didn't want to make the whole thing that, because I didn't know how I could stretch out 40 pages of that, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, I was like, hey, I need a story for this. It can't just be all this erotic stuff, right? What else can I do?
No, you need something to hang your hat on, metaphorically.
Yeah, you need to,
because you come for the
yeah, I
erotica,
did.
but you stay because you care about these characters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
Real quick, what are their names?
The characters in the story are Chris is the main character, and the love interest is Sophia. And there's also another guy, Mr. Turk. He's in there as well.
Now, most erotica would have taken that to a love triangle place. But you elected
But I'm
to
not
take it,
most erotica, baby.
Yeah, you elected to take it to a cyborg hunting them down place. Why don't
Yeah.
you tell me a little bit about the decision to include cyborgs?
Well, I thought, what could I put up against my psychic man, right? Cyborgs, obviously, Ben.
Is the
This is a no-brainer.
Is the cyborg symbolic of how, sexuality can sometimes blend man or woman and machine, and how, bodies become commodities? And
The cyborg is symbolic of a big chonky dude that you gotta shoot so you can bang your hot girlfriend.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
I'm not gonna say that I'm like really deep, but like I think we're all thinking it, right?
We're thinking many things. So
Yeah, we are.
why don't you tell me then about the
Sexy
motivation
things.
for the legendary Chris? I'm sure a lot of young men can see themselves in his sticky jeans.
His very, very sticky jeans. Yes, he's gotta liberally scrub those things after that first act. It's pretty graphic. I believe we compare it to the eruption of Pompeii.
Now, you mentioned acts like Shakespeare.
Exactly like Shakespeare. I'm glad you picked up on that.
I did, yes.
I'm not saying that there's a stage play coming, but you did just put the idea into my head. So,
I'm sure we could get James working on that.
I'm sure we could.
Maybe an audio drama.
Oh my god. Now you're speaking my seductive language.
So Chris, he's kind of an everyman, but with psychic powers.
Yeah, obviously.
Sorry, I'm just yeah. This is just how I'm gonna die.
That's all right. I mean, you're going out like a champ, and you will forever be remembered. You're getting immortality out of this podcast.
I'm just gonna mix this NyQuil into my coffee here. Yeah, Chris starts off a little bit of a moral gray area with Chris. You know, he's in a college. Now, I once heard somebody say that you can set a book anywhere except a college. What made you decide to go to a college classroom?
Is that a saying? Is that really a thing?
I have heard somebody say that.
Okay.
You notice not a lot of things are set in college. High school, yes. Early adulthood, yes.
Hey,
college,
I saw Spider-Man 3 where it was essentially a high school, but he was definitely in a college.
Mm-hmm.
They were throwing spitwads at him, which doesn't happen in college and usually not in high school.
Is this another of your influences? A Shakespearean Spider-Man, so to speak.
Well, I think it would be really weird and uncomfortable, and no one would want this if this were set in a high school. Like, at least everyone's, like, of age, consenting adults.
Universal Pictures presents everything you always wanted to do in high school with everyone you always wanted to do it with. See Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
You've got me on the technicality there.
Plus, you know, main character is an everyman, just kind of drifting through his 20s. Where else is he going to be? Not working. Not when you can steal money with your brain.
So let's talk about that. You've made him something of a dashing yet bumbling rogue.
Sounds about right. You know, I feel like everyone can insert a little bit of themselves into Chris. Various spots.
Go deeper into that.
So yeah, you dashing rogue. I mean, you know, it's what you aspire to be, but also a bit bumbling, so that you can actually be, right? You're not gonna be as cool as Han Solo back before Han Solo became like old and grumpy, and he had kids, and it got kind of lame, and his life was essentially over. But Han Solo, when he was in his prime, something you can aspire to be, but let's face it, probably not gonna. Chris, on the other hand, you could achieve his level of cool with very little effort.
Provided you had psychic powers.
Yeah, obviously. I mean,
now let's talk about the psychic powers. What role do they play in the erotica? Because the first encounter of a, shall we say, adult nature is one that happens on a purely mental level. Was that intentional?
Oh, yeah, no, it's not a reference to my contemporary Ernest Cline. But I didn't want, you know, the payoff of the story was getting it on physically. So
obviously, yes.
This was all build up. All these other scenes, they had to be mental to build you up to when they're gonna shag. Am I right?
Well, you could have had them shag multiple times.
Shall we shag now or shall we shag later?
I could have, but I feel like feel like this gives a little better payoff.
And it also serves to establish the psychic powers, which are perhaps an equally important part of the story for some reason.
Exactly. Yeah, and also it allows us to do things that other erotica can't. You can't shove your brain hole into someone else's brain in other erotica. So, I'm not saying I'm a trailblazer or like that I'm better than other erotic writers, but
No one's saying that.
I'm not saying that. And the idea is floating around in the room.
After the purely mental connection is formed, resulting in the aforementioned sticky genes, Chris resolves to rob a bank.
Yeah.
Is that a statement on late stage capitalism?
I don't want to give away all my secrets, Ben. I want you, the reader, to decide if that's a statement on late stage capitalism and really extrapolate on that and perhaps write a college paper about it.
So, Chris, he uses his psychic powers to rob a bank. Now, after he does that, he takes a car presumably loaded with cash, and he drives directly to the woman who psychically molested him.
Sounds about right.
Was that a statement on late stage capitalism?
Again, I want people to read and decide for themselves and write me some papers on it. But the answer is yes.
If you were to compare yourself to any modern erotica author,
I was going to say Mozart, but then you completed your sentence.
are you aware of any modern erotica author?
Ah, jeez. Chad Dingleton. He's doing some good stuff, actually. Here he managed to put in some sci-fi stuff into his erotica.
So Chad Dingleton sort of became his own hero.
I think Chad Dingleton maybe became everybody's hero. Maybe not the hero that we wanted, but the hero we deserved.
Elaborate on that.
So, I'm not going to. Because it's a statement that stands for itself.
So we find that it would have been very easy. I'll put it this way. It would have been very easy for you to write an erotica where a lot of people had sexy sex, and that was it. Or maybe you incorporate some violence, spice it up. But you elect to have Chris and Sophia engage in a little playful romance. And they almost bond while they're doing violence to several anonymous, quote-unquote, bad guys.
I prefer goons.
Goons, if you will. Tell me, how much thought did you put into the goons?
Well, I know I knew when I set out that I need to have several brick shithouse people for them to inflict violence upon. Like superheroes.
So this is kind of like a wrestling setup where you establish a big guy, and then if he gets beaten, well, then the guy who beat him is pretty serious.
Yeah. That's very profound of you, Ben.
So wrestling, Shakespeare, Ernest Cline. This is an incredibly diverse pool of literary references that you're drawing from.
And don't forget Mozart.
And Mozart. Now, what is your favorite Mozart composition?
The 7th Symphony in D minor, obviously. I mean, everyone likes that one, right?
And which part of the story did that influence the most?
I can't really point to just one particular part. It's one of those things like
pervades throughout.
Yeah, I was gonna say like take Stephenie Meyer. When she's listening to her, let's face it, horrible music while she's writing her books back in the early 2000s. Was it the early 2010s? Mid 2000s, whatever. In that time range, right? Can she really point to one song for one part of her book? Or is it just kind of something that pervades the whole work?
No, she definitely does point to particular songs inspiring particular scenes.
Well, then in that case, I'm not like Stephenie Meyer.
I see.
Which
I
might
see.
not be a bad thing.
Which would probably be why you did not use vampires.
Hey, there's always room for a sequel.
Would you consider writing a sequel, perhaps with vampires? Oh God, it's the end.
Potentially, yes. There's definitely room to expand the deep lore, the deep, moist lore, Ben.
Now, I'm going to ask the question that I think is on everyone's mind. Did Mr. Turk survive?
Ooh, yeah. This is another thing where I don't want to say anything definitive. We'll just see how sequel plans pan out. You know what I'm saying? But he did suffer catastrophic damage. I can tell you that much.
So this is now the second time in less than 5 minutes that you have mentioned a sequel. Are you fundraising? What would it take to get a sequel to Extrasensual Perception?
Well, I feel like it has to be a higher mark than last time, right?
Some sort of Brandon Sanderson-esque Kickstarter.
Yeah, so instead of
For $2,000, you will send them a pink leather-bound, perhaps peach-shaped book.
Oh, you're giving me some great ideas here. I was just gonna say maybe I sell like 10 or 15 copies, but you're starting to sell me on this idea of a fundraiser with peach-shaped books and.
Have you thought about incorporating a quote-unquote hard magic system? I understand that many people use them in place of conventional pornography.
Yeah, so I would do something experimental, Ben. I would incorporate a hard magic system into conventional pornography. So side by side, right?
Side by side, yeah.
And maybe, dare I say,
Dare you say.
also a soft magic system. Yeah, sky's the limit, Ben. But only if I secure an amount of funding.
Now, what amount do you have in mind? What does it take to bring Chad Dingleton's vision to life?
Oh, man.
Oh, Jesus Christ, we've only been recording for 27 minutes.
This doesn't have to be a long one. I mean,
No, that's
solid,
it. We'll
solid
go.
8 inches,
We'll go until I die. I don't need to live after this. Tell me about the romance between Sophia and Chris. Where, fucking where did you draw your inspiration for a nerdy blonde, I assume, guy to get with a smoking hot redhead a la Fred Flintstone?
Well, there you go. The Flintstones, obviously.
No personal thoughts on this. No life experience you drew from, because
No, I don't typically draw solely from life experience. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta go into new frontiers, Ben.
you're an adventurer of the mind,
Yeah, and
the penis.
of the junk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you, Chad Dingleton, know if Nathaniel Creed's wife has yet read Extrasensual Perception? I can't say sensual right now. My nose is clogged.
From what I understand, she has not.
What do you think her reaction will be to the, in so many words, climax?
Well, I'm probably going to just have to tape several condoms to me so that we don't actually conceive another child. Am I right? Can I say that on air?
You can say whatever you want on air. Do you know if Nathaniel Creed's wife listens to this podcast?
Only if she's involved, and she only knows that if someone tells her, so...
I see, yes.
Maybe I won't do that.
Sending her a quick Discord message here, making sure she knows that's coming. Okay.
And maybe so will I, am I right?
Perhaps. Now, the final scene. Would you like to get into spoilers? Should we get into spoilers? It's only been out for a little while yet.
It is a relatively new piece, right? And I do want to give people their time to either give $2 to the Patreon, where they will get both this and all the extra audio and a monthly book poll, or they can go and pay $1, really 99 cents, so not even $1 on Amazon. But I am willing to spoil. So for all you people who are planning on rushing out and buying the book, go ahead and pause the podcast here. Go out, buy it, read it cover to cover twice, maybe 3 times. Take plenty of notes, get ready for your college thesis, and then come back here and we can get in spoiler territory. Yeah, all right, let's do it.
All right. So I've wanted to ask this since I first edited the book. The ending scene is just a jim jamboree of sexual exploits. How did you select which maneuvers they would attempt?
That's a good question.
I actually legitimately I'm giving you a genuine praise, I guess.
It's okay, you can praise me.
In that I do like that the characters romance a bit. It's not just an erotica, but it is very much an erotica because you explicitly describe sex acts.
Very explicitly.
Very explicitly, sometimes clinically. Towards the end, though, they're exercising their psychic powers to read each other's minds and, in essence, become like the perfect lovers.
Right.
Right. And so at one point, somebody sticks a in a. What made you decide to do that?
I'm glad you asked, Ben. I'm constantly asked this question by all kinds of book reporter outlets and also the news. Anyway, I recall the scene in which you are describing, in which a of one man's ends up inside of a woman's cavity.
Yeah, that's what happened.
And my thought process was, how can I, Chad Dingleton, erotica pioneer, how can I involve just as many kinks and as many holes as I possibly can all at the same time? And so,
So you didn't go with any of
it was
the...
easy after you come up with that basic thought process.
That's an interesting thought process because you didn't actually involve that many kinks.
Yeah, you're right. Probably not kinks. Probably just orifices. Just tons and tons of orifice use.
Yes. We also get a protagonist who has an evil corporate father. Did you draw any inspiration from the little-known indie classic Edenverse when constructing that narrative?
God, no. Absolutely not. Are you kidding me? I don't need the overwhelming stench of failure on this book. So, I heard from a very reliable source that it was, quote, boring, end quote.
Oh, that really stuck with you, huh? Okay, let's see. What other stuff do I want to ask?
If you're going to call it boring, you got to be a man and actually read it.
So boring, they named it thrice.
Yeah.
But, no, what else do I want to ask Chad Dingleton? Okay, I guess, how in 30 pages did you find it within yourself to change so many hearts and minds? Do you think that this book will have any effect on the Middle East peace process?
I would, I'm a humble man, okay? So I don't want to say...
Would you say that Sophia is in favor of a two-state solution in Palestine? I'm
just going to throw it out there. If enough people buy this book, we will achieve world peace. And it's only 99 cents or $2 on the Patreon, but the Patreon also comes with a bunch of other cool stuff, so, the extra dollars really going to support the Words About Books podcast show. But, like I said, if enough people decide to come together, giggity, and buy this book, we'll achieve world peace.
That's amazing.
Guaranteed.
That's incredible stuff. At any point, did you write a line specifically thinking about an audiobook narrator having to read it?
I thought about that a lot. Very often.
Would you
did
say
I
it was a
think.
driving force in
I would say
particularly your descriptive prose?
yes, particularly of a scene involving a lot of food descriptions. I thought, this will be good. This will be good if someone has to read this into a microphone.
Yeah.
And possibly a stage play.
And possibly
or an audio drama.
a stage play. Okay, let's talk about stage play, audio drama, dream casting. First, who plays Chris?
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan, the 70-year-old man.
He'll have to dye his hair. He has to look exactly like he did in GoldenEye.
When he was like 40.
Yeah. Hey, if there's anything I know about Hollywood, they can do some shit to your hair and your face, and you'll look either really, really good and young, or you'll look like Grand Moff Tarkin come back from the dead. So I'm willing to flip a coin and take my chances.
In your mind, was Chris British?
He could be. I'm willing to let that look. If Hermione can be black, Ben, Chris can be British.
Wading into some troubled waters there. Okay. So let's move right along. Sophia, dream casting.
Dream casting. We're talking about for a stage play, right?
Yeah.
So
An impossibly young Molly Ringwald.
there you go. Perfect. Pierce Brosnan and an impossibly young Molly Ringwald. It's turned out really well.
Perfect. Now, of course, everybody loves a good villain. Everybody, often a story is only as good as its villain, and that is especially true in the erotic genre. So Turk, who plays Turk?
So if it's just a voice, then I need the guy who did Tagoro in Yu Yu Hakusho, or Scar in the first Full Metal Alchemist.
Well, Tarukane, your tastes are unique.
Now, if we're talking about for a stage play, then I need really just the biggest, strongest looking motherfucking dude.
Dave Bautista.
They're perfect. I was gonna say another wrestler's name, but you know what? I think Dave Bautista can pull that off.
See, I just saw Glass Onion, and I feel like Dave Bautista showed me some nuance in that role.
I think Ryan Johnson said he was hands down the best wrestler actor ever.
I actually think I do prefer Dave Bautista to The Rock.
I'm on the fence.
I don't know if it's just that Dave Bautista chooses better roles for his skill set.
I'm in the process of watching every single Dwayne The Rock Johnson movie, Ben. So we'll know by the end of this scientific process.
I see.
It's called Rocktober.
It is December.
Yeah, but Rocktober is a state of mind, Ben.
I see.
Live every week like a Shark Week.
But Dave Bautista, great pick. Throw him in some cyborg stuff, some prosthetics, and yeah, he'll be ready to go.
I think there's one more character. Sophia's ailing but evil father.
Who's the guy who played Wilson Fisk from Daredevil? Let's get him on board.
He's dead.
Is he really?
Wait, are you talking about the movie Daredevil or the
No,
cartoon?
God, no. Are you kidding me? Gross.
Oh, wait.
No, the Netflix series.
That's fuck. Vincent D'Onofrio.
There you go.
Okay, I could see this. So we just need an impossibly young Molly Ringwald, a lawnmower man style Pierce Brosnan, modern day Dave Bautista, and Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, this is shaking out pretty well.
Yep. Sorry, I just have to moisten my throat, otherwise it dries up and just turns into a crackly mess.
Well, we know the dangers of things going dry from this book, so you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Wait, Shy, come here real quick. No, I want you to say it again into the mic.
Are you talking about casting your stupid fucking erotica?
Yes, for a stage
Yeah.
play.
I don't think that we have to be so harsh.
Why would my lover, Vincent D'Onofrio, ever do a stage play of your damn erotica?
Only Vincent D'Onofrio could bring the gravitas and
Of a man who's dying.
a man who's dying. No, I think I might have a shot.
Oh.
Go on, get it in there. This is a free-flowing episode.
You get Vincent D'Onofrio from his very first Men in Black role, and that's it.
Sugar water.
Sugar water. I'm gonna go get some sugar.
What about Men in Black?
Vincent D'Onofrio played a bug-possessed human corpse in Men in Black, where he demanded sugar water, and we were thinking that perhaps he could parlay that experience into this role.
Huh. I did not know that was him.
Yeah. An impossibly young Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, let's see. What else do I want to ask you about extrasensual perception? The cover. Let's talk about the cover.
Genius.
Who did that for you?
I believe oh geez. It's on the tip of my tongue. I had a guy.
I really thought you were going to say you did it yourself. You were just going to take full credit.
Who was he designed the cover, this brilliant cover, but I don't know. I can't recall. I'll get back to you on that one. I can't remember his name right off the top of my head.
How would you respond to other authors who, some of whom have asked to be on Words About Books, and we did not give them a chance? Instead, you were the first author on Words About Books. What do you feel you did to earn that honor?
Well, I told you about the sunglasses indoors and at night, right?
Yes, you do wear sunglasses indoors.
Okay. I've also got a little bit, just a little tiny bit of sipping Crown Royale right here, right? Like it's
That's the stuff that comes in the purple bag?
It was crafted originally for the Queen back in the day.
Which Queen?
The Queen. You know who I'm talking about. So, I think I got that going for me. Also, I got on first. Maybe they should have been faster, huh? I also think that, I released this pretty recently. I don't think anyone else has released anything in the last month or last 2 weeks. I think this has been out for like 2 weeks.
I think we're probably nearing the merciful
climax.
The merciful release of this episode.
Yeah. Mercy release.
And I
that
think
could be the name of the season.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, that hurt. Oh, it might have been a piece of my lung.
You've got more lung.
Yeah. So, have you ever seen Inside the Actor's Studio with James Lipton?
Nope.
Fuzzy little British guy. Okay.
Is he the guy behind the T?
Maybe. So, Inside the Actor's Studio always ends with a series of 10 questions.
Okay.
I think it's only fair, since this is Inside the Author's Studio, I should do the same. What is your favorite word?
Boned.
Fun. What?
No, wait, I'd like to revise it. Dingleton.
Okay. What is your least favorite word?
There's a few, like moist or gooey. Ben.
Ben? We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Okay. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Extrasensual perception in stores now.
What turns you off?
My sales.
Full stop. What is your favorite curse word?
Fuck. Obviously.
What sound or noise do you love?
I don't think that it's appropriate for the air.
None of this was. What sound or noise do you hate?
See previous question?
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Oh, does neurosurgeon not count? Or does
That counts? Do you want to be
Cool.
a neurosurgeon?
Yeah,
You know you're not going to get brain powers.
that's okay. I could give other people brain powers.
Probably not. Okay. What profession would you not like to do?
Anything involving sewage.
That's a pretty good answer, actually. Not counting this book, am I right?
Hey!
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I read your book. Big fan.
Okay. Fuck this. I'm done. Buy Chad Dingleton's book or join our Patreon. We will be doing an audiobook soon. We're in the process of recording it now. I will be the narrator. You can probably all see how much joy this brings me. And yeah, that's a thing. So in the meantime, you can follow us on the newly Nate-helmed Twitter, WAB Pod, the newly Ben-helmed Instagram, Words of Books podcast. And there's a blog, I assume, still.
And there's also shout-outs.
There's shout-outs. Bet you wanted to be shouted out on this one, you weirdos. We got shout-outs to
an extra sensual shout-out.
An extra sensual shout-out to Uwu, Brad, aka Isekai Sensei Sama of the That Time I Got Reincarnated in the Same World as an Anime podcast, and James, If You Want the Gravy, which in this context is not sexual.
Could be, though.
Could
Hit me
be.
up, James. We'll collaborate.
Got a stage play we need you to write and direct. We don't know anything about stage plays. Okay, bye.
Later, Benjamin. Thanks for having me on your podcast.
Never call me Benjamin.
Little Ben.
Fine.
Well, a gentleman never kisses and tells, but yes.
A gentleman never tosses salad and tells, like his name, Romaine. His name.